Oh, there goes say you're alive. Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Sunshine on Wheels, the talk show. Me, your host, Shana, co-host, DJ, and Kimberly. How are you today?
Doing all right.
Good,
Doing
thank
all
you.
right.
Okay, all right. Now, for those of you all that may have missed the last episode, I want to first apologize for the technical difficulties which we may be experiencing. I want to apologize for last week with the internet issue, and I pray we don't have that issue again this week. But what we last talked about was the foster care system and how it's, I would say, rigged in some areas and, not so good, if you get what I'm saying. And we do have Kimberly, who is one of our co hosts, and she's going to continue to share her journey. But some of the things you may have missed from last week, Kim shared about her income being taken away from her. She shared about her, I wouldn't say, I would say learning disabilities and how the family used that against her. She learned like her income that was taken from her and she wasn't aware that was supposed to happen. She didn't know that that was wrong and things like that. And I really thank Kimberly because this is something that needs to be shared with everyone out there, whether you're a foster care parent or not, or whether you're a foster care child or not. You need to know these things and be aware of these things. So, Kim, without further ado, take it on over. From last week's show, how do you feel so far by sharing?
I actually feel good about it because now the truth is starting to come out, something that I've kept up for a very, very long time. And, at from 18 and up, 18, you're really considered an adult in the foster care system. So, I'm not really sure if age wise of you're 18, but if you're younger than that physically, I guess, mentally, physically, they could say, no, you're not considered an adult. So the foster care system likes to take advantage of disabled children more than quote unquote normal people.
Now, do you
Well,
think it's because that they receive more money if you're a
Yes,
disabled foster care child?
you do.
Oh,
I think part of it too, though, is depending on where you are mentally, you can be 18, 25, 26 years old, but your mental level to be able to comprehend and be where you are. That's why we say some people need payees, some people need help with budgeting, some people need help with their money, but that doesn't mean that they should be taken advantage of or their money should be taken away from them. You have to learn to advocate for yourself as much as you can in a situation where if the rent is $1,000, you're not responsible for paying the entire rent. It's the number of people in the household. You divide it by the number of people in the household, and that's what you pay. You do the same thing with the bills. It's an easy way to understand, okay, this is my portion, this is your portion. You have to explain what it is and know what it is you're paying. And if you're unaware of that, people can take advantage of you so easily. And I think that was Kim's problem. She was told, you live here, this is what we're going to do, and there's nothing you can do about it because it's our check anyway. And that's not the case.
well, I get what you're saying, and I understand that is very true, DJ. But what do you do if you're not told these things? Because these are things that they should know. But what do you do? Like you're in Kim's situation, you weren't aware of these things. What do you do? You know?
Honest, honestly, I think the only thing you can do once you're able is reach out to your foster care worker and learn how to ask the right questions. I mean, it's kind of hard because if you're underage and you don't know, you have to learn, and it's based on what you're told. And this is kind of where we get into the murkiness of parenting, and our parents honest enough to say, okay, this is what you make, this is what we're taking. Do you go over with your child the money that they receive? If they're younger, I can see, 9, 10, 8 years old, they may not be ready for that. Are you a responsible parent enough? And if Kim would agree, are you a responsible parent enough to say, when they're of the age to understand, this is what's happening. You're paying this much of the power bill, this much of the rent, this much in food, you're left with this much. So the person knows, okay, this is where my money's going. It's not just being taken and spent on popcorn and Cracker Jacks, and mom's not just buying what she wants. And some parents do that because they think they can, and it's not right.
I miss Cindy.
Now, I like what you said there. And I think if possible, I think maybe the foster care system need to step up where they may do courses on how the money is to be spent, or maybe they need to have financial advisors over top of the money that will set certain amount of money aside for the foster care for when that child leaves that home at 18. He or she will have money set aside so that they will be able to start living their adult life. And then also have money set aside to pay for where they're living at. That's what I think should happen. How do you feel about that, Kim?
Well, I agree on that, but actually, we are in the process of doing foster care. We want to have a child in our home to show them a better life and everything else, that it's not always, bad out there. There are families that, absolutely do love you and really don't care about the money, just care, this is my child. He's not a foster child. She's not a foster child. They are not a foster child. They are my child. And, I'm going to show them the right way of life. Yes, you might have some ups and downs just like a regular family does, because that's normal. So we want to take the child and be like, we're your family. We love you. And as long as you're with us, we're going to show you the better part of life.
And to answer the financial question, going through the classes that we've gone through, it is structured. The foster care system has structured it.
Yes.
This so much for room and board. This so much for food. This so much for da-da-da. This so much for medical expenses. This so much. But the problem is some of the parents don't abide by that. And they just, this is my money. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take care of it. And it's fine. If you're taking care of your child, we're not trying to verbally bash anybody here. It's the ones that are going out buying steak and lobster every night, going to the casino, spending $300-400, coming home with nothing, wondering why you got no money because you spent your child's welfare on everything else but what you're supposed to spend it on.
Not guilty.
I mean, and some parents, and it's bad,
Yes.
Foster. We need to get this foster out of it. I don't like foster. I don't like the term.
Before you go there, I want to ask Kim this question first because I'm picking up on it. The word foster, how does that feel to you, Kim? And why don't you like the term if you do not like it?
It's stupid. It's straight up stupid because every child is a child, regardless, up until you're 18, you're still considered a child. So, and you need that parent or parents to help take care of you and teach you the right way. stuff like that. So I don't personally, I don't like that word foster child.
Think of it this way. If you get a burger, okay, it is your burger. You don't divide up that burger. I'm going to eat this half on Tuesday. I'm going to eat this half on Wednesday. I'm going to eat this half on Thursday. This is my foster burger. I'm going to put it over here for later. Children are not property of the state.
Correct.
I understand they are awarded to the state, but that doesn't make them property. That's something I want to change, because when you make a child feel like it's an object and it doesn't belong, that right there is the first step in changing. How would a child feel if it thought it was an object?
Most children in foster care do believe that.
Yeah, I'm just going to bounce from home to home anyway. It don't matter. Nobody really loves me because I'm only going to be here for 6 months, and all they're going to do is beat the crap out of me and treat me bad. So, but you get parents that do love children, and you get parents that want to have children and want to make the best that they can and are responsible with their money and show them what they're doing and do everything the system says. And they're sitting here waiting, not saying us, for a child to come into their home to be loved and nourished and taken care of as they're supposed to be. Sorry, had something in my throat there.
I mean, I think you had something in your throat for the last 5 minutes there. But before we continue on, I want to go back and say hello to a couple of people. I want to say first hello to Thomas. Thank you very much for joining us. And Thomas says here, I came to my family as a foster child when I was 2. Then they adopted me when I was 5. Thank you very much for sharing that. I would like to say hello to Bro Ramirez. I hope I'm saying your name right. And hello to Miss Cindy. Thank you all very much for tuning in. And Thomas, thank you very much for sharing your story with us. Now, Kim, do you all feel as though that word foster is considered like a business exchange?
Oh, what exchange?
A business exchange.
For some. Some parents. For some parents. Not all, but maybe for some it could be considered as a business exchange.
Yes, exactly. Or shall I say a slavery trade? Because, okay, I give you this kid, right? And I give you money for this kid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So basically, I don't know how to put it in the right terms, but it's like a slave trade. Because back then, that's what they did with the slaves. So a lot of the children are considered slavery trade with the system because they get treated like trash, and stuff like that. A lot of foster parents, they are pretty good with their children. Not all foster parents are terrible, but a lot of them, yes, they are trash.
Okay, thank you for sharing that.
Back in the early times, there was a lot of things that were wrong, but people's views were also wrong back then too, and they had to, quote unquote, grow up to see kind of where they were. So the system had to adapt itself. Unfortunately, this is the only system that we have, and I'm not defending it because there's a lot of holes in the system. But I do understand where Kim is coming from. And this doesn't mean that when you get your child, because you get money, they're going to work for you and clean your house and do slave labor. No, they can do chores and they can be brought up to be raised as a child. Again, putting that term in there, foster child, makes it like it's a term of contractual agreement. When you raise a child, you throw the contract out the window. so many parents want to be friends of the child, which that's what they may need, but you have to discipline yourself between friend and parent. And that's difficult to do because you have to learn to raise them the right way, but also let them know that they're individuals and they have the power to do what they want to do if they put their mind to it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing. And we have Miss Cindy here who says the child has to feel like they are really wanted and not just for the money. I agree with you 100%, Miss Cindy, because a child, they can feel when things are off and they know when things aren't right. And if they are a child that's been going from home to home to home, and they're like, oh, there's no need of me unpacking my suitcase. I may be gone in 6 months. There's no need of me getting attached to this family because I may be gone in 6 months. So I do understand, and Miss Cindy is absolutely right. The child has to feel like they are wanted, and it cannot be based on just the money. And it's a lot of sick people out here that do things because of the money.
Mm-hmm.
And before we go on, I want to say it's 16 minutes past the hour. And I want to say thank you very much for tuning into Sunshine on Wheels, the talk show with the host Shana and co-host DJ and Kimberly. Today we are talking about a very important topic. And I thank Kimberly for sharing her story with us. And the topic is things you need to know between foster care parents and foster care children, part 2. Now, Kim, if there was something that you could say to all those children that's under this system, what would you tell them? What would you want someone to have told you? What have you would want someone to tell you while being in this system growing up?
Be careful of the foster family placement you go to, because a lot of foster families, they don't care about the child and will use the child to their advantage, and they pretend that they love that child, and at the end you really see that it wasn't about you, it was about the money they received. So just be careful with that. Also, but there are some good foster families out there that actually do care for the child, and even though sometimes it is about the money, but a lot of them just really do care.
Probably for me, I mean, even though I wasn't in the foster care system, I would say remember that this transition takes time. And you have to give parents a chance to, because it's new to them as new as it is to you. And understand that a lot of them that do care aren't there to help, to hurt you. They're there to help you. But if you feel that you're being taken advantage of or hurt, or not being treated fairly, there is someone you can reach out to. Know your limits and know your rights, because I hate saying this, foster children have rights. Children have rights, and know, if you can, know as much as you can. But it also takes time, so you got to give a little bit. Not all families just want to throw you out there after 6 months and say, okay, we're done. There are families that do care and want to care for you, but you have to adapt and change and learn how to kind of change can be good for you as well.
Good answers. Now, Kimberly, with what's going on now today in this system we have here, do you feel as though there need to be more changes being made?
Oh, yes.
And what changes would you like to see?
Well, first of all, I would like to stop seeing the list they give people that are becoming foster parents to do's and don'ts not to do it. If they set a punishment, like say your child is bad, I'm gonna sit on them or I'm gonna burn them with scalding water or something like that. I'm like, a person that's coming into foster care to become a foster parent really don't really want to see that. I mean, it's like common sense. If you don't have common sense and brains, you shouldn't become a foster parent or a parent at all in general. Because if you're that dumb, then you don't belong here. You belong somewhere in a psych ward or something.
And the sad part about that list is they make that list because so many people have done that and punished their children in the wrong way, that people need to be aware and know the do's and don'ts of that list. And I want to see the whole system change to where you understand that this is a child, that this is someone that you raise and nurture and care for. And yes, the money is there, but that money is there for the child, to raise the child, not for you to, go buy shoes and purses or cologne. And take care of your child first. Learn the importance of your child leaving a legacy, not just for you, but for them. Let them grow into what they want to be, but teach them, guide them. And social services and the departments need to work together. They need to know that we're a team. Okay, this is not just an agency that's trying to tell you what to do. In a lot of the classes we take, we learn about mental health for the child as well as the parent of the child, the birth parent. They want to try to keep the birth parent involved as much as they can, because the mother that gave birth to the child has rights too.
Even though they don't deserve it half the time.
And it's hard because you see all these things that a birth parent may have done. As Kim said, they may not deserve it half the time, but they're still their child. And that right is, it was hard for me to look at and go, man, now I've got to consider what the birth parents want. Until that child is adopted and those rights are given away, those rights are no longer there, that child is going to probably return to home unless they can find a good enough reason not to. And as sad as that is, that's the way it works a lot of time. That's the disadvantage to foster care, because you've had a child in your life for 2 or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, and then boom, they're ripped away from you and given back to their mom or dad, because they and it's coming, and like, you can't prepare for that. But all you can do is give as much love as you have and give as much love as you can to show that child, I was there for you. I mean, some children run away back to the foster parents because they don't want to leave them. Exactly. Some children don't want to leave their mom because it's all they know. And it is decimating to the child. Decimating to where they don't know what to do, because they're caught in between this web of, who do I love? Which one is which? How do I feel? What do I do? And you got to take the child and the mom into consideration. Thank you. As much as you don't want to, because it's hard for both of them to adjust. She may have been a drug addict and this and that, but if she's really trying to turn her life around and get her life right, to see her child, there's nothing you can do. That's her decision. And if she's making the right moves to see her child, you got to let her do that. And that's the hard part of foster care, because even though you feel that they're yours, until that court order is done, they're not.
So it's like you on eggshells, not knowing when they're going to have to leave or if they can stay. Yes,
Right.
and that has to mess with a child mentally. You get what I'm saying? Here I'm I'm at a home where I am being raised by parents who love me, because maybe my parents who gave birth to me can't do it right now. And here I'm in this home, and now I have to get up and leave and go back to a home where the parents that couldn't raise me say that they can raise me. But now I may be afraid because I don't know, what if those parents decide that they can't do it again? And will I be able to go back to that home where I was receiving the love from those parents that weren't my birth parents? So Tim, I have to ask you, did that bother you? Like living with foster parents, did you ever have that fear that you would have to up and leave?
No.
At any time.
But things got a little worse when I was adopted.
Okay.
From being,
now, what advice would you have?
I've always been in one foster family, and I'm grateful for that I wasn't one of those kids that had to move from place to place every few months. But we have had a lot of foster children that has had that happen to them in the past. But no, I really wasn't. That never even crossed my mind, I guess, because I didn't understand that that could really happen at that time. But yeah, once I got adopted, because I was in foster care since I was 11 and a half and got adopted at 16. So my parents, as I got older, they told me, no, the money is ours, and you know, you live here under our roof, our rules. Okay, time 18, 19 rolled around, they decided, I'm going to put the money in your bank account. I was like, okay, cool, I got my money now. Wrong, way wrong. They had control over that they could take the money out of my bank account and still take it for themselves.
Which they did.
Yeah.
And then when she got a job,
and
the same thing.
That's not fair. That has.
Then when she got the
but that's
job,
not fair. That has to be a law.
And she was left with about.
There has to be a law in place.
She was left with about $50 to $100 a week, a month. I'm sorry, based on what, and they knew they were doing this. I mean, and like I said, there's a lot of things that go on that the foster care system is unaware of because people are underhanded. There's always a loophole where you can get around what is said. Now, see, I want to go back to something that Shana said about, when a child returns from the foster parent to the home, if the mom or the dad or the parents have done it right, it's again going to take time. It's another transitional adjustment for the child. They wonder a lot of times, and this is what traumatizes the child so badly, and Kim can attest to this. Is this my fault? Did I do something wrong to make my parents not love me? Did I do something wrong to make my parents give me away? That is, a child will sit there and struggle with that, whether they're 2, 12, 15, 13, 8. It doesn't matter the age. They wonder. Children pick up on things. They notice things. Shana said that earlier. They know what's going on when something's off. They know when mom's upset. They know when dad's upset. They know when the dog is upset. They know what's going on. And what makes it so hard is if we do not treat the child and address those issues. Your mom loves you. She sends pictures, coloring pictures. When you go to visit the biological mother, there are plans that you can put in place with your foster worker. You can bring pictures, things from school functions, trophies. Let the birth mom be a part of that. But the foster parent has to know, and this is the hard part, the foster parent has to know at that time the mother's in control. You're not. Yep. You're there to assist her. You're there to assist them. Even though you're raising the child, it's still their child because they gave birth to that child, and that's something you didn't do.
Yep.
And as hard as that is to sit there and go, you're right, that's right, and you're just waiting, and you want to go, that's not the way I do it. What the heck are you doing?
Exactly.
You can't do that because you want the child in the end. You have to want what's best for the child. So that's the hard part about foster care. You don't know how long they're going to be there, and all that you can do is give all the love that you can, knowing that the time may be short or it may be long. And the longer it is, the harder it is. And adoption does not come up in foster care that often.
Yep.
It does happen. But Thomas, the comment that he made, he was very lucky that he was able to be adopted by those same parents when he was 5. There's a big transitional window of what has to go on. Lord have mercy. We went through it with the little one we were trying to get. We're still trying to get and still fighting for.
Yep.
And God, is it a waiting game. Folks, let me tell you this now. If you think you have patience, go into foster care or kin gap and test your patience then.
It's not for everybody.
Oh my God, it is a waiting game, and you think you waited? We've been waiting since last year. I mean, and still, but you know what?
Only the strong will survive in this.
Exactly. When it happens, we have prepared ourselves and done everything we're supposed to do. And social services will tell you, we'll get right back with you. Social services will tell you, they will tell you, we are your team members. We're gonna step with. You got to call them people. You got to go up there. The squeaky wheel gets the oil, and that's the hard part. That because you think you got a team, and you do, but they got 15,000 cases and 15,000 other people to deal with, and you ain't the only one. And they stretch them from mile to mile too. And it's hard. It's hard all the way around. But you know what? Life is hard. So you can either complain and get nowhere, as Shana says, or you can get up off your butt and get it done.
That's right.
That's it. Because loving a child, there's no experience like loving a child. Nothing. And no matter how many are in your home, how many you get, the process doesn't start over. The love continues. You're constantly, don't look at it as, oh my God, I'm starting all over. No, you're not. No, you're not. You have a child that needs it. Give it to them and loves you. That child is looking for someone to guide them and know. And trust is a hard thing. Trust is a hard thing in a relationship. It's a hard thing in adoption. It's a hard thing in foster care because all their lives, that child has been told, I'm going to do this, or we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. And they're moved around and jostled around like a chess piece on a chessboard, thrown around. Some of them are beaten, burned, molested. I mean, it's
the system just don't care.
It's horrible. It's horrible. But for the
Wow. Before we go on, I want to say it's 34 minutes after the hour. And if you don't know, you tuned into Sunshineonwheelz, the talk show. Let's talk about it with host Shana and co-host DJ and Michigan. for allowing us to be a part of their platform. In today's topic, we are talking about things you need to know between foster care parents and foster care children, part two. And I want to thank Kimberly and DJ for also sharing their journey on becoming foster care parents. I want to also say Miss Cindy has a question here. How long can foster the child before you adopt it?
All right. How long are you able to foster the child before you adopt it? Okay, there is a what they call a foster care timeline. And this is a very, very detailed timeline. There are plans put in place. Every goal for the foster parent originally is for the child to return to home. That is the first goal. When that goal is put in place, they try like the Dickens to get that child to return to home. When they determine that the child cannot be, that's not an option, meaning they, because of the situation, they can't find the father, the mother doesn't want, the rights have to be terminated. Okay. And that is a 6 to 13 month process right there.
Mm-hmm.
So once that happens and the rights are terminated, then a goal for a plan of either a closed or open adoption can be made. Okay, now usually it's a closed adoption, but again, you can make it for either. But the timeline it can be 1 to 2 years for everything to go all the way through and be finalized, and sometimes longer than that because there are holdups in between the process where the mother will say, okay, I don't want to adopt to have the child back, but then right before their rights are terminated, I want my child back. So then the process starts again. They have to go through all the classes, all the rehabilitation, which makes it harder on you because then you got to wait to see, and does the mom get it back? And then, well, no, I'm gonna turn them in. I don't want her now. So it's a round robin until that those papers are signed, which makes it so much harder
Mm-hmm.
to go, and it can be a very long process.
Exactly.
Well, DJ, you got that right. You better have patience while you're in that process.
Shana, I thought I had it. I ain't got it. I ain't got it. I have some, but it's so hard because we were the little one we were supposed to get. Now this is through another program, but
The Kin Gap.
the Kin Gap program, we were supposed to get him, and the state denied us. So we're now waiting on an appeal, but we're also trying to become foster parents, and we're also trying to find out if we can do both at the same time. We don't know if we can do both at the same time. We're waiting on the worker to let us know.
And nobody contacted us yet, and we've called them many times.
And it's still, so it's a waiting game. My adopted parents had 6 children before they adopted me. That's
6 other children.
wow. That's a powerful thing, man. And see, people that have gone through, and this is why we're doing this. We want to reach out to people and let them know, even though the process is long, even though the process is hard, you got to keep that faith. You got to keep that push, knowing somebody out there loves you, and you're going to get through this. As hard as it is, as much as Kim went through, look at her life now,
Because you're in it.
Well, and I appreciate that. I'm amazed at how amazing of a person she is after what she's been through and the hurt and the pain that she's had to face. And it's not that her mom and dad were bad parents. They were very good parents in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do something you're not supposed to do, at the end of the day, in the end, you're gonna pay for it. It's gonna come back to you trifold, and you're gonna get knocked on your butt and go, you know what? I really shouldn't have done that.
Like what's happening now to them.
And parents that do things, that their worst thing that they can do, people, when they start getting older and they realize it's hard for parents to let go. It is hard for parents to let go. Shana knows it. Kim knows it. I know it. My mother is 71 years old. I have a godsend. My mother's an angel. Now, I didn't think that when I was 12 years old because, I was being raised and had to do what I had to do. But my mother never talked me down, never put her hands on me abusively. I got spanked a couple times, but I deserved it. And it made me a better man and prepared me. My mother prepared me for life in so many ways because my mother had to play both roles. And Kim has had it so much harder than I've had it. Kim has had it 10 times harder than I've had it. And I say that because I've seen some of the stuff she's gone through and some of the verbal and mental and physical abuse she's taken.
Yep.
And these kids out here in this system that take it, I'm going to say this, and it may not make sense, and you may look at me and go, how do you know this? God has got you.
Yep.
Continue to push forward. Continue to believe. Continue to pray. Continue to have faith. And continue to know that you are wanted and you are important. You are wonderful people. You are going to find somebody special. And to those out there looking to adopt, maybe this is coming to us too, or looking for foster care. When it happens, it's God's timing.
That's right.
Let God take care of it, because your patience is gonna run out. My patience done ran out twice. God had to fill it back up again. And then it leaks. Okay, we all leak. We all spiritually leak. We get mad. We say things we shouldn't, but we're human. All you can do is the best you can and let God handle everything else.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Now, before we leave, it's 42 minutes after the hour. DJ and Kim, you were sharing about your experience and with your going through your process and then being denied. I have one question. It's been on my mind. I have asked this question to you all, but I want to ask it again. Do you think because of having disabilities would stop someone from being able to be a parent?
Absolutely not. Just because you're disabled, you still have your mental faculties and everything else. So, and just because you were born a little different, that's okay. It shows the child that you're getting. Okay, mommy and daddy has a disability.
So what?
So what? It teaches them to not make fun of kids that are disabled and that are different than them, and be more likely to help them.
Or ask
if mommy and daddy do need help, stuff like that. I feel they're more compassionate, in a way.
There's a two-part answer to that. There's a two-part answer to that question, Shana. The adoption agency or the foster care agency or the KinGap agency may look at you and say, oh no, we don't look at you different because you have a disability. You don't know. You really don't know, because they say they don't. They say it is, we have people coming in here with disabilities all the time. They adopt all the time. One-legged people, one-armed people, black people, white people, orange people, all kinds of people. Oompa Loompas. Yeah, we have everybody adopt, But then you get to the adoption or the foster care or the KinGap or taking care of the child. Do not let your disability dissuade what you want in your life.
Mm-hmm.
If it is meant to be, God is going to make it happen. Now, listen, in all this time, we got denied. In all these things, we getting no answers. And all these things, we asking all these questions, and we sitting here waiting, being patient, wondering when this storm is going to break, where one door closes, a window or something opens. Look, I know God's got this. I know that eventually I may be 50, I may be 55, I may be 60, I may be changing diapers when I'm 90, but by God as my witness, I'm going to be a father some way, somehow.
Yep.
She's going to be a mama some way, somehow. If I got to pick up a kid off the street and say, you want to come live with me? That's what I'm going to do. Now,
no, we won't do that.
Now,
discretion.
I digress. I'm not saying there are children. Children are innocent, loving, wonderful creatures, and there are so many that need a home, and it's hard to see the little ones walking around, and you see these mamas yelling and screaming at their children, and you wonder, how can you raise your child like that? Remember, sometimes parents are only doing what they know and what they were taught. You can't always blame the parent when it's a generational thing. Now, one thing I want to say about Shana, I want to bring up Shana in this because as a mom, Shana is amazing. I've known Shana for many years, and she has taught me a lot of things in asking questions. If you don't ask, you're not going to know. And I think children and parents forget how to communicate. You know, back in the old days, it was children are meant to be seen, not heard. Now it's children have voices. Parents have voices. Don't beat your child. Don't hit your child. Don't yell at your child. Listen, my mama spanked me twice, and my butt was tender enough that I still feel it. I don't need no more. Okay? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Am I saying beat the mess out your child? No. But you got to the child has to understand, and this is what I love about Shana. Shana can make someone understand what they're being punished for and why, and still be that loving mom to where I go, how did you do that? Because there's no parenting book. There's no, you don't get, especially with a disability on top of it. How are we going to carry him? People are going to look at me the way I carry my son. Or daughter. I picked up that car seat and I wrapped that joker around my arm, looking like Gumby on steroids. And the lady looked at me like, "Do you want me to take him?" I said, "Do I look like I need your help?" And it's nothing against people.
That's right.
But I got to do what I got to do. Now, changing diapers, that's tough for me. I'm working on it. Help me, Jesus. My stomach is about as weak as a leaf on but I'm there. I've changed the diaper, though. I got through it. It's all right. Help me, Jesus. It smelled for a couple of hours, and it was up my nose. And baby poop don't smell like baby poop. It smells like dead stuff you ain't never smelled before, because what goes in has to come out. But I want to say this at the end.
And he loved
and our little one that we're working on loved pooping on me. That was his thing. When he got in daddy's arms, he'd look at me and there it is. I said, "You waited for that." And he'd look up and just laugh. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, no matter how much you go through, no matter how much you deal with, no matter how much you suffer from, this too shall pass. You're going to find that if you're patient enough and you're faithful enough and you reach and seek God enough, and yes, I said it. I'm not trying to preach to nobody, but this is what works for us. What works for you, pray to who you got. That's all I'm saying. If you are faithful enough in what you believe, if you are faithful enough in what you do, and you are faithful enough in what you say, God's going to bless that. And I know eventually I'm going to hold a little one in my arms, and she going to hold a little one, whether it's ours that we make together or it's the one that we adopt, or the two that we adopt, or the five that we adopt. I don't know how many we want. We may have the 22 in the shoe. I don't know.
We got a whole football field.
But here's the thing. Shana will be part of it. There are people.
I like that idea of football field. I love it.
Football team, sorry.
But it's all, it takes time.
Yep.
And just when you think you have patience, get a little more. Because you need it.
Just a little.
I appreciate, Kim coming back and doing part 2 on this because it's needed. Guys, read up on this stuff. Talk to your foster care agency. Talk to your social services, and for God's sake, take the training. The training that they offer is valuable training. Don't think I'm gonna just sit through these videos and not. There, you learn stuff in these videos that you did not know. Woo, Lord have mercy. And I'm gonna tell you this: the last couple of minutes of the show, they talk about self-care, folks. It's not a joke. Self-care for you, self-care for your child.
Yep. Take
time for yourself, and your child has to adapt to the way you do things. This don't happen overnight. You better be ready to get up 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Yes.
And whether you birth them, or whether you adopt them, or whether you foster them,
they're still your child.
Thank you. Took the words right out of my mouth. Mama knows what I'm trying to tell you. But Shana, thank you for having us. I know you're going to close us out, but this has been awesome. And we didn't have any internet issues. Woohoo!
Well, okay. I'll take that and run with it, Lord knows, because it's been cooking my grits. Now, I want to read this comment Miss Cindy has here.
She said cooking my grits.
She says this will give them a head start on how to deal with the situation of how to see others with a disability. Amen. Great comment, Miss Cindy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we have Bro here who says amen. Absolutely, absolutely. Right now, it's 52 minutes after the hour, and right now we're in the close of the show today. Once again, I want to tell you all thank you very much for tuning in. Let's talk about it with host Shana and co-host DJ and Kimberly. And the topic of today, we talked about things you need to know between foster care parents and foster care children, part 2. I want to give a thank you to GRTV 25 in Michigan for allowing us to be a part of their platform, as well as thank you to DrKimberly Barrington for allowing us to be a part of her platform, as well as 100 Shades of Diversity. I want to tell you all, thank you very much for tuning into this show. And if there were any internet issues, I want you to know my grits were cooking, and I do apologize in advance for them. Now, DJ and Kimberly, before we go, let everyone know how they could reach you.
Well, you can cook my grits on YouTube. You can find me at My CP Does Not Define Me. You can cook my grits on Instagram. My CP Does Not Define Me. And you can cook my grits on Facebook at DJ Carter Jr. spelled out with a space between the D and the J. Kim, how about you?
You could I can't even get the stuff together and I'm laughing. You could find me on Facebook under Kimberly Johnson, and you'll see a picture of me and my husband together on that. You'll find me on Instagram as Goddess1985, and
YouTube Kimmy Coos.
And YouTube Kimmy Coos, which is our jewelry YouTube, and we sell things for cerebral palsy awareness. Everything is handmade by us. And 30% goes back at the end of the year of the profits we make.
Awesome. Well, once again, I want to say thank you very much for tuning into the show today, which I thought wasn't going to happen, but it did happen, thank God. Okay, I want to tell you all we'll be back next Friday. Not sure the topic yet, but we're coming back next Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget, you can watch the replay on YouTube, Life of Sunshine on Wheels, as well as it will be airing in Michigan on channel 25 on Thursdays. So I want to tell you all thank you very much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. I love you all. Be safe, be blessed, and bye.
Bye.
Go watch part 1 if you haven't watched it yet.